Farhad Moshiri's 7-year ownership looks set to be over then after he agreed to sell his 94% stake to that American investment fund 77 Partners. The takeover would bring to an end what's been a difficult era under Moshiri at Everton. The sale is expected to be completed by the end of 2023. This is all subject to the relevant authority approval, of course. Everton fans, Cass, have been willing for a change of ownership. We know that there has been a real divide between certain sections of the support and the board. And it looks as though it's coming to an end. So in some ways, they're getting what they want. They want Moshiri out. It's just, what do we know of this American investment fund, 777 Partners? Can they bring the success that Everton have been hoping that they'll have? Everton fans, that is.
Tough one. We really have no idea what their intentions and how they're going to build this club that's been, I think, neglected in probably the wrong word, negligent in the way that they've been run as a football club. You know, you think of some clubs, and your club's one of them, that Brentford and Brighton and other clubs where they've got the recruitment spot on, value for money. Everton have made loads and loads of deals over the last few years and they always seem to overpay. Okay, there's one thing overpaying to entice people to come, but it was a common theme. Never getting any bargain deals. And look, I can remember days Seamus Coleman coming to the football club. You know, it was an absolute bargain from Republic of Ireland, came from League of Ireland, should I say. And that feels like it's been the common theme for a number of years for Everton. It's a terrific football club. And it needs to be in the hands of people that the respect that they have in the game has dwindled over the years because the club has just fallen into freefall, fighting relegation. It feels like every season now. Yeah. You know, they feel like, although they haven't gone down, they feel like a team that's gone up and down, like been relegated, although they haven't. It feels like the club has been in such a redundant time. This club needs rebuilding, and maybe this is the start. I don't know, because you never know. The new owners, 777, an investment fund. You don't know what sort of funds of money are going to come into the club and how they're going to spend it. You know, the reason Man City were successful, and yes, it was huge amounts of money, it was country money, but they also bought a lot of good players and paid good, decent fees for them. They didn't always go for the absolute. And look, the spending's been huge in the last few years, but initially, Man City was, the players they bought in, a lot of them were of great value. Think of David Silva, think of Aguero. And yeah, they were big fees, but they were also brilliant players for that football club.
There's obviously a new stadium to fund as well. That's still being built, isn't it, on Bramley Dock? I was reading about the 777 Partners, and they do own a number of clubs in different leagues.
One of my old clubs.
Across the world, indeed. Red Star in Paris, they own them. I think it was Genoa they own. Yeah. Is it Standard Liège? Vasco in Brazil. Of all, Sevilla as well. That's a minority stake that they have in that club. Of all the clubs they own, there's only one that's actually done all right, and I think that's Vasco in Brazil, if my memory serves me right. The rest have all either struggled, have been relegated, can't get promoted, which maybe sets some alarm bells, perhaps, with this ownership group, in the sense of, yes, they can come in, yes, they can buy out Farhad Moshiri, but will they have the money to invest properly to get Everton back up to where they want to be?
Well, I don't know. It sounds, from what I'm reading, Everton have lost a lot of money in the last couple of years under financial play issues. The club's it's been an absolute mess. And I don't know all the details, but what we can see is the club's been left to rot in some ways. And I think Moshiri has probably had enough and probably done a lot of his own money, taken a lot of advice off a lot of different people. There is a reason why clubs are successful, because even if the main owner owns a football club, and you could go back to Abramovich days at Chelsea, they had success because he also employed people that were smart enough to do the things that he couldn't do as an owner, but he knew who to employ. That's the same theme at Brighton, it's the same theme at Brentford. And that's why you have to be competitive. And Everton have got everything wrong in the last few years. I can't think of too many transfers I go, wow, no, that was a roaring success. It hasn't been that at all.
And it's also another clubcast that's been taken over by an American
It's
ownership.
10th one, isn't it?
I think it's over a third of Premier League clubs, they say now.
I think it's 10 now.
10, right,
yeah,
okay.
I think half the league is American owned.
Okay, well, that's a huge number. What does that say then, do you think, about, I don't know, one, the product of the Premier League and the clubs that are here, but also the fact that there are lots of American owners coming over? What do you think that says? It
says that the Americans are seeing great opportunities in football to make lots of money, and the ceiling is a lot higher than where it is now. They see it as a big investment. But even a club that has so much debt like Everton, they can see past that. Well, hopefully they're thinking they can turn it around. It does seem incredible because there's so many clubs with so much money in the Premier League, and they can compete, and some can do it for short periods of time, some can do it a bit longer. It's a really difficult subject to talk about because football globally is growing, even though we have massive amount of money. And I've been in the game over 4 decades, and people say this one day will collapse. Well, quite clearly, football is not going to collapse. There is investment everywhere, and we've seen Saudi Arabia get involved. America has been aggressive in its attitude towards football and see it as a very rewarding business long term. If we're talking, if we're talking clubs being valued at, I don't know, 300 million now or even more, what is the value of these clubs in 10 years, 20 years' time? Well, we will see then what happens. Like I say, it has to all be officially ratified, this new takeover. But as confirmed by Everton, Farhad Moshiri, his era looks set to be over after an agreement to sell his stake in Everton to this American investment fund 777 Partners.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.